Hey everyone, so I recently finished playing Marvel Spider-Man the other day, and I thought it would be a good idea to give my raw impressions of the story since it's still fresh in my mind. Also, I wanted to bring my good friend James, aka Lasers, the number one source for Assassin's Creed, on the channel to talk about it with me, since he's a big fan of Spider-Man, and he recently finished the game as well. James, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I just think it's amazing how your voice switched completely as soon as you started recording. You went from like normal to commentary. That was really good. I like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is my voice all the time. I want to say before we get started, I will be doing an actual review, and I know James is going to have a bigger video out as well. But again, I just wanted to give my raw impressions of the story specifically. With that said, this video is obviously going to contain spoilers for the entire game. So if you haven't beat it yet, please go do that and then come back to this video. So first off, what did you think of just Peter and Spider-Man?
I think it's one of my favorites. I think out of all renditions of Spider-Man, I think they did a great job of managing to sort of establish, their Peter and their Spider-Man within like probably like the first, I don't know, like minute of the game. Like they did a really good job of establishing all of that. I thought the performance was brilliant in so many different ways, like of portraying like the comedic aspects or the banter with friends or just like some really emotional stuff as well. So I think all of that was bloody great.
I don't know if you noticed, but so there's been this tweet going around, but basically they recorded two separate voices. So
Oh
when,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, Spider-Man's web swinging, it's more, his voice is more stressed, and then when he's just
Mhm.
sitting still, it sounds normal, which is like,
Yeah.
it's a small details like that that really make this game so good. For me, I played it at E3, and I wasn't really sold on the voice just yet. I only played it for 30 minutes, and playing it, the full game, it's just, yeah, the voice actor, I don't really know his name. I know his first name's Yuri, but
Mhm.
he killed it. I also do want to talk about Miles. Um, so that
Yeah.
end credits scene, he's Spider-Man now.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder, I mean, they're going to have to, but for the next game, I wonder if it's going to focus mainly on him or it's going to be like 50-50 Peter and then Miles.
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking the same thing because I was like, okay, so clearly next game will focus on, him sort of being mentored by Peter. Will it have a gradual transition, do you think? Like maybe you'll start off playing more as Peter, play as Miles a bit, and then maybe it'll transition, you'll be playing as Miles at the end, or do you think it'll be like 50, maybe like a sort of GTA 5 type thing where you can switch, or like what do you think they're actually going to do with it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it could start out with, Peter training him. And what would be really cool is, Peter has all these gadgets and moves since he's been doing it for so many years. And then Miles, it's like,
Mhm.
it's harder to web swing as him. It's harder to like take down enemies. I hope they
Yeah.
change it gameplay wise because it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I feel like they'll have a story thing, so some missions are for Peter and then some are for Miles. I don't really feel like you'll be able to switch it because they just are kind of different. Miles
Yeah.
is at a disadvantage. But yeah, that was crazy because when the spider went on Mary Jane in Oscorp, I was like, okay, she's going to get bit. I really thought
Yeah, I
it would
thought the
be
same.
her. And then she goes all the way back to Feast, and that spider is still on her and
I
hasn't
know.
bitten her. And then, yeah, Miles just gets bit. I'm like, okay, both of them exist in the same universe. And one thing actually about Miles I really liked was his dad. He was only in it for, a couple minutes, but just their dialogue together. He mentioned that Miles is a big fan of Spider-Man, and he saved he saved your life. He's funny as well. He does things legally, and
Mhm.
yeah, he saves your life. And I just really like the father. They built him up, but then like 5 minutes later, what did Somniac do? They kill him off.
Yeah. It was great, that scene as well. The like awards ceremony or whatever it was. That whole section when all that shit happened, I was like, this is fucking crazy. Like this game is more than I thought it was gonna be. Like in terms of narrative, like this shit was that was fucking heavy. Like
No,
I wasn't expecting that. I loved it.
I honestly think, and you'll probably agree, but this is,
Mhm.
I said this on Twitter, but it's definitely the best Marvel superhero game by far.
Oh, easily. I think it's the best superhero game. I think it's superior to the Arkham games. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. It's been my favorite superhero for ages. And this game, I think it means more to me because I'm such a big fan of Spider-Man. I have been for like, years. So it's one of those things. So I think that's just it. Because I think that Spider-Man and the Arkham games, they're on they're on a very similar level in terms of quality. So I think it really comes down to, do you prefer Spider-Man or Batman as a character, to be honest, because they're both sort of on par.
Yeah. Another surprise too was Stan Lee, his little cameo in
Oh
the game.
yeah, I loved that. I loved that. I kind of actually clapped it. I was like, oh, that's great. That's really great, because I wasn't expecting it. It felt like like in a Marvel movie when he shows up. Like it felt
Yeah.
it felt like this is a real. This is not just like a novelty video game. Like they really care about this. I really love that.
And I mean, he's been in previous Spider-Man games before. I mean, he even has his own skin, but for some reason, I didn't think about that at all going into this game. I didn't think about Stan Lee. So when I saw him, and his character model is like just super high quality, along with everyone else's. You can see freckles and just their faces, the wrinkles. It's amazing. The last surprise, I think, was Doc Ock being in the game. Did you actually know before playing it? Okay, because I think it was GameSpot actually showed a clip of him. So I
really?
kind of got spoiled, yeah, in their review.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, but what did you actually think about him being the sixth member of the Sinister Six?
What I think was great is I think they did a lot of little bits of misdirection over the course of the game, because when he first showed up, I was like, okay, well, that means we're going to get Doc Ock. But as the game progressed, I was like, are we going to get that, or will they do that later and maybe they'll do Green Goblin? Like, I couldn't figure out which one they were going to go with until it really got into it, and I was like, okay, he's sort of losing his mind a bit here, that this is what they're going to do. They're going to go with Doc Ock. But I loved that. I thought that was great, because until I saw him, I was pretty certain that the sixth member was going to be Green Goblin, because they'd never shown Octavius before. So I thought that was cool, and that whole section, because there was I think that and there was a lot of other points that were sort of like, they never marketed it, so it was really cool to see to see the story really play out, and that was one of those moments, I think.
Yeah, I kind of thought a little differently. I thought in the next game he would probably become Doc Ock, whereas this game, the sixth member for me, I thought it would be Kingpin, just because
really?
he has like a big role at the beginning, and it's super easy to take him down. So I feel like he kind of planned this as like a secondary thing. So I don't know. I thought he would come back and be the sixth member, and then they save Doc Ock and Green Goblin for the second game. But yeah, he never really came back.
Yeah, what the fuck happened to him when everyone broke out of the raft? Where did Kingpin go?
Yeah. Oh, dude, they never mentioned that. That's actually a good point.
He never shows up. He never goes back to the city. He's just gone. What the fuck? It's so weird.
Another character too was Martin Lee. I feel like he's probably the second main villain, because I mean he's just in this game. Yeah. See, with him, I liked the Martin Lee aspect, but I feel like they didn't really do that good of a job explaining his powers specifically. They set it up like how he got his powers, but I still don't really know. Is it just the negative side, like the negative energy of him, and then he can give it to other people, but it doesn't weaken him? I still don't really fully understand.
Because they do that little origin bit where it's like, okay, so Osborn did it to him, but what did he actually do to him? Why did that happen? Why was that the thing that happened? I don't understand. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit, they didn't delve into it too much, but I guess I never really thought about that until you just brought that up now. But yeah, that is a little bit weird. But I did like him as a character. I think maybe there's room for them to delve into that more later on, because what happened when he was defeated? Did he lose his powers, or
I mean,
did he sort of just what
we saw him
there?
go back to Martin Lee, but then that's it. That's the end of it, really. He gets
Where
hurt.
did he go? Did they put him back in the raft? I guess they did.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense, but I feel like we didn't actually see that happen.
No. He didn't. Yeah, I guess that's what he did. I feel like these characters will return at some point. I feel like they have to. They can't just vanish.
Yeah, and I mean, like Rhino and everyone, Electro, they didn't really have. So like I was expecting the raft mission to be, I don't know, towards the middle of the game. And
Yeah, so was I.
yeah, I was like, so what is this happening? It kind of felt like they wrapped up the game, I don't know, just fairly quickly with those boss battles. They were good, but I don't know, that middle piece was kind of dragged on a bit, and then the end, it's just like everything's going crazy. The city's on fire, and you have to go to boss battle after boss battle. So I don't know. I don't know. The way they handled those other characters were just kind of pretty fast.
Yeah, I think the reason for it, the way I looked at it, was Spider-Man's already fought these villains, so he sort of knows what he's doing. It's less of like a obstacle for him to overcome, more of like a, okay, these guys are out again, we've got to quickly put them away. And they were more the build-up to fighting like Mr. Negative and Doc Ock sort of thing. Like it was like he had to get through these like obstacles to get to what he's really trying to do, sort of thing. That's the way I looked at it more, because they were sort of, because to yeah, I don't know, they were more minor villains because he'd already defeated them before, I guess.
I do, like, again, I want to clarify, their boss battles were really fun. I just felt like from a story perspective, we didn't really learn all that much. Like when you go to Doc Ock's secret lab, you find out like all this background information on them, but it's just dialogue. You don't really see anything, so I don't know.
I suppose so.
As far as negatives go, I talked about Kingpin for me, how he's just a big part of the story, then you never see him again.
Yeah.
It's not really that much of a negative because there's so many characters in this game. But another thing that kind of bothered me was Silver Sable. I just felt like her character was forced in. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit. It felt sort of like a Web of Shadows type thing, like where at the end you get all those S.H.I.E.L.D. agents sort of all over the place.
Didn't that happen in the Amazing Spider-Man games? One of them?
I didn't play those. I have no idea. Maybe.
I completely forgot about those games right after I played it. So, but yeah, it's just like, so they're building up Mayor Osborn as a character, and he seems like a nice guy overall. And I just kind of wish that he brought more of the police force to attack Spider-Man instead of this just separate group. So like that just makes the city hate him. The police officers hate him because he's just bringing in this third-party group to take care of villains and not his own police force. So it just kind of felt forced. I don't feel like she added to the story.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And another thing was, Yuri, I can't pronounce her last name. Watanabe? The police officer?
I don't even remember her last name.
The police officer, like, you guys have a lot of good dialogue together, but it's over comms, and she's, again, another character that you see right at the beginning of the game, and then you never see her actual face again. You just hear what she has to say. You never really see her going into any places. It just feels like you're doing her work, which, I mean, that's what Spider-Man does, but I don't know. Again, I feel like she didn't actually add to the actual story. She's just like, oh, there's this hideout over here. Can you go take care of it? I'm busy.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like some of the characters maybe were underused as actual characters. Like they didn't appear often. Because I would like for the characters to sort of be in the world and you could go and interact with them outside of cutscenes and things like that. But that wasn't really. I mean, it kind of was a little bit, but I mean, even still, in missions, it would be nice to have the characters there. It's things like Shocker as well. He just disappeared after you do that mission with him in the bank. He never shows up again either.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, I forgot another, big surprise that happened was Aunt May. She's dead now.
Jesus Christ. That final scene, man. Because I don't know about you, but I thought as Peter was sort of like, when he realized that he could either save Aunt May or, he had to sacrifice Aunt May to save the city, I was like, are they going to give us a fucking choice? Like, are we going to have to pick this? And for a minute, and it was like that. I'm kind of glad they didn't put that weight on me, to be honest, because I could not. I don't know what I would have done. But that final scene was crazy. I was there were tears. I was so upset. I was like, this is mad. Like, and the acting from the guy who plays Spider-Man was insane. Like, that was such a great scene, such a great performance. It was bloody great.
Also, you think for a second he's gonna save her because he like takes the drug and then almost puts it in to her bloodstream, but no, it's just that was. See, like, it's funny because she knew that he was Spider-Man, and Kingpin knew, Mary Jane knows, and now Miles knows. So like literally everyone close to him knows. I don't know. They're just telling everyone basically, and I wonder, do you think Kingpin will tell people his identity or no?
I feel like he won't.
Or not Kingpin. Like Doc Ock.
I know. Yeah. I feel like no. I feel like if he was going to, he would have. I feel like that's sort of like a running theme with superhero villains. Is they like, I don't know, they have like this weird respect for the superhero's identity. It's like with the Joker and Batman. Like, the Joker doesn't want to know who Batman is because it's like part of the fun or whatever. So I don't feel like Doc Ock will tell anybody.
And the last character we haven't talked about is Mary Jane. For me personally, yes. I just feel like that's who her character is. They didn't really switch anything up. Sure, she works for the Daily Bugle, but like, she's always on and off relationship wise with Peter, and I feel like that's just who Mary Jane is, to be honest. Her missions, especially at the start, her missions for me were just really boring. It was more entertaining once, I mean, she was in places that I actually cared, like Osborn's apartment, and she got a taser and stuff. That was like, finally, instead of just sneaking around, she can finally take down enemies. She can lure people. That's when it was more fun. But yeah, her as a character, I feel like it's just the Mary Jane we all kind of know.
Yeah, I liked her. I liked her interactions with other characters and with Peter. I think that, like you said, towards the beginning of the game, those missions are a little bit boring. I think it was interesting. I think it was an interesting take. Like, I think I like that they at least tried to do something there rather than not doing anything at all. But towards the end, it was definitely better. Like, the stuff in Norman Osborn's apartment was really cool. I liked all the different stuff you could interact with and finding out like what actually is going on with Harry. Like, because that was sort of like a bit of a twist that they just sort of threw in there. Like, because they've been saying all along that Harry was away studying in Europe, and then it's like, oh wait, what actually is going on here? It was a bit. It came out of nowhere, but I liked it. I liked that.
I wonder if Norman will be the Green Goblin first, kind of like what the Spider-Man trilogy did, or if they're just going to give it to Harry.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like they showed a couple times throughout the game little hints of like Green Goblin tech, like that they've been working on for the military, which I thought was cool. Like, they had the glider and the like little like bomb grenade things and all that stuff, which was cool. But I don't know, like, what are they going to do? Because you get that other little post-credit scene as well with whatever the fuck was going on there. I had to watch that again because I was like, what is going... So, like, that's Harry, right? In the... Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, he says, I love you, Harry. Pretty sure.
I
love you, son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually. So you assume it's his actual son. He's not using it, like, figuratively. That'd be a bit weird. But, so, like, in that thing, like, what's going on there? Because a lot of people are speculating that it could be symbiote related. It does look very symbiote.
That's
so
true.
I'm not sure. Because when I first saw it, I was like, that doesn't make sense. It's like, my mind didn't even think of it. But then I rewatched it and everyone was saying, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that is a bit. It is a little bit.
It's weird because, I mean, I always just assumed it was Green Goblin, like that's the creation right there, but you're right, there's little webs that kind of touch the glass. But I don't know, Eddie Brock is in this game. Like, there's a backpack that says it's something with the Daily Bugle or whatever, and you can see his name.
Good luck card or something.
Yeah, so I don't know, I still feel like it'll be Green Goblin, but the thing I don't know is if Norman will become Green Goblin first, and then like as soon as he's about to die, he just gives it, like, I don't know, somehow creates Harry to...
Yeah, it's weird, because I don't know. I really don't know what road they could go down. It's really strange to look at it because the place that they leave like Norman Osborn in at the end of the game is like I can't see him just suddenly going, you know what, I reckon I want to be Green Goblin. Like, it just seems so odd. Like, why would he do that?
Well, he was getting beat up by everyone, like
I guess so.
Mr. Negative and then Doc Ock all in the same place, so he might just want to like protect himself.
True. Maybe he just doesn't get reelected as mayor and he's just really upset. And he's like, you know what, fuck all of this. I'm going to become Green Goblin.
Seriously, why would anyone in the city vote for him? Because again,
I have no idea.
He brought out this third-party thing, and they're taking civilians, and they're just messing everything up. And then, I don't know, Silver Sable leaves, and then they're still in the city. It's weird.
Oh yeah, she was like, look, man, I can't do this anymore, but I'm also gonna leave everyone here as well. Like, she just it's so weird. I don't. That's so strange because she leaves, but she's like, no, don't worry, my men are staying. It's like, what? So why are you leaving? I don't get it. Yeah, it's a bit weird though.
But yeah, I mean, overall, they're setting up a sequel. Obviously, I said on Twitter, I feel like it's going to be for a launch title, probably for the PS5, because I feel like that's probably 2 years away. Maybe.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't know. This game, just from start to finish, I couldn't stop playing, and I feel like everyone else, it was just like finally not only a good Spider-Man game, but a good Marvel game. We haven't got
the first one since like maybe like Spider-Man 2, I guess. Like Web of Shadows was good, but like
this is the first AAA one. So there's some other Marvel games that are all right, but they never hit this kind of quality. There's just so much to do, and I feel like this is going to be the first game that I 100% because it's just it's so good.
Yeah,
but yeah, do you have any like final thoughts just on the story or the game?
Probably would if I'd been prepared for any of this, but no, I think we hit everything. I just think it was a great experience. I think it was more than I expected, to be honest, because I expected the gameplay and the world and everything to be of a very high quality, but I don't think I really expected the narrative to go where it went and to actually try and be deep and interesting, because I think that was something that was unexpected. Like, say, I think that the final scenes, after the boss battle and then in the hospital, well, it's not really a hospital, but with Aunt May, were really fucking well done, well written, and well performed. And I think that really hit hard for me. I was like, this is really good. Like, this is really high quality stuff. It felt like the same quality as some of the Spider-Man movies, and that was like, it was more than I could hope for. So overall, it was bloody great.
And again, if you watch just the cutscenes, the facial animations, and the just graphics of this entire game, the open world is insane. I was looking at the Amazing Spider-Man 2 gameplay just yesterday. I was like, oh my god, this world is awful. All the buildings are static. It's just like, I love how there's little details you can see through windows. The world is just colorful. I don't know. Yeah. It was good.
They put a lot of work into it. There's so many little details. Like, even when you're walking around, like, on street level, it's like, there's tiny little things. It's like, why did they do, like, you're going to be speeding through this world, like, swinging around. It's like, why is these little things here? Why did they do this? It's just so great. I love it.
Honestly, I mean, if you guys have made it this far, you have to just replay the game. It's going to be worth it. Trust me. But James, thank you for talking Spider-Man with me. We'll definitely be talking more about it on your podcast, Kill Connor Club.
We will. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, I look forward to more of your Assassin's Creed content, as always.
Fuck off.
You can check out James in the description down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Love you, James.